Dieting so that you can burn fat from stubborn areas like your belly, love handles, and hips can be really challenging because cutting your calories can easily leave you feeling deprived, hungry, and miserable. But the good news is that there are foods that taste great and can help fill you up for almost 0 calories. So today I want to go over 20 of the best foods that fall under this category. Starting first with shirataki noodles. These are actually also referred to as konjac noodles or miracle noodles, and they're called miracle noodles for a reason. These noodles are unique because they are very filling yet very low in calories. Just an 8-ounce serving contains only about 20 calories. Meanwhile, the same amount of regular pasta could cost you as much as 300 calories. On top of the fact that shirataki noodles are low in calories, the calories come in the form of insoluble fiber. When you eat insoluble fiber, you end up taking in fewer calories in the form of carbs compared to other forms of carbohydrates like soluble fiber and starches. This is because this type of fiber doesn't get absorbed entirely. To be exact, you'll only absorb about 1.5 calories per gram of insoluble fiber compared to the 4 grams that you would absorb if you were eating a regular carbohydrate full of starches or sugar instead. So this means that for an 8-ounce serving of shirataki noodles, you'll effectively only end up with a net intake of 7.5 calories, making these noodles one of the best carbohydrates for burning fat and one of the best weight loss foods in general. Another carbohydrate that's similar is slim rice, and it can be used as an alternative to shirataki noodles. It only contains about 7 to 9 calories for every 100-gram serving. To put that into perspective, the same amount of brown rice would cost you a little over 110 calories. Slim rice is also gluten-free and made from non-GMO konjac flour. This is the same ingredient that is used in shirataki noodles, but you can eat it in rice form instead, which might be more suitable for certain meals. And the good news is that the texture and consistency of this product is similar to regular rice. Now, since most veggies are also very low in calories, it might not be a bad idea to try steaming some vegetables and serving them along with slim rice for an almost calorie-free meal. You should know that there are also many claims about konjac root having appetite-suppressing effects. Unfortunately, more studies are needed to confirm this, but if it does help suppress your appetite on top of being really low in calories, then it could really help with fat loss even more, especially if you're finding yourself hungry throughout the day. Next, we have the cucumber. Cucumbers are very low in calories and very high in water content, which helps fill you up. 97% of a cucumber is made up of water, and a 100-gram serving of cucumber contains only 15 calories, which makes it easy to add cucumbers to your diet without bumping up your caloric intake by much. On top of that, research indicates that cucumbers may help reduce and control blood sugar levels, which can help reduce hunger cravings caused by irregular blood sugar levels. For weight loss purposes, you should eat the cucumber unpeeled because it'll increase the amount of fiber, helping you feel full for longer, and the skin contains much of the vitamins and minerals as well. Another very low-calorie food happens to be sugar-free Jell-O. This tasty snack contains only 5 to 10 calories and can help you satisfy your sweet tooth without skyrocketing your caloric intake. Aside from the low amount of calories, it contains gelatin, which has been shown to help reduce appetite and increase the feelings of fullness. There are also brands that contain no preservatives at all, and if you buy the Jell-O pouches, you can easily take them on the go with you wherever you go. Next, we have zucchini, and not only is zucchini mostly made up of water, but it can be used to replace one of the highest calorie carbs, pasta. All you need is a spiralizer, and you can very easily crank out some zucchini noodles. These noodles can be used in many delicious low-calorie meals. One simple option, for example, is to cook them, add salsa, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese. And there are plenty of other low-calorie options like pesto zucchini pasta that'll blow your mind. Zucchini contains only 17 calories per 100 grams. Meanwhile, the same amount of pasta contains 131 calories, and it's much less filling. On top of all that, just like cucumber, research indicates that zucchini might help reduce and regulate blood sugar levels, which can be beneficial for managing hunger cravings. Now, going back to cucumbers, an alternative, and for our next food, we have pickles. A whole cup of pickles only has 17 calories, and one medium-sized pickle contains only about 1 gram of carbs. Since pickles are fermented in brine, they offer a unique flavor to your diet. And there are multiple flavors. For example, if you're craving a sweet taste, you can get bread and butter spears with no sugar added. added, and they'll only cost you around 5 to 7 calories per spear. The one thing that you do want to be careful with is the high amount of salt, because it can lead to bloating. But unless you need to look your very best very soon, that water weight can easily be flushed out later. Next is one of my favorite fruits, and that's watermelon. Now, even though watermelon doesn't have 0 calories, it's very low in calories for a typical fruit. It contains only 30 calories per 100 gram serving, which is about equivalent to 2/3 of a cup. This makes watermelon an excellent weight loss friendly food. For example, one study found that if you have overweight people eat 2 cups of watermelon daily, they generally end up consuming fewer calories than they otherwise would, causing them to lose fat over time. On the other hand, if these overweight participants consume that same number of calories in the form of cookies, they would feel a lot less full, which caused them to overeat and gain fat. This led the researchers to the conclusion that eating watermelon daily could help reduce body weight, BMI, and blood pressure. One big reason why watermelon is excellent for weight loss is that, as the name implies, it contains a lot of water, 92% to be exact. This high water content causes the stretch receptors in your stomach's wall to be activated, and that sends signals to your brain indicating that your stomach is full, leading to a reduction in caloric intake. Another green vegetable that's made up of 96% water is lettuce. There are all different kinds of lettuce, but what they have in common is that they are all very low in calories. Every 100 gram serving of lettuce only provides an average of 17 calories, making it an excellent food for controlling your appetite and supporting weight loss. Now, if you want to select the lettuce variety with the lowest caloric value, you can go for either butterhead lettuce or red leaf lettuce. Both contain only about 13 calories per 100 gram serving. Next on our list is chewing gum. Now, I know technically chewing gum isn't a food since you don't swallow it, but if you're looking for a way to reduce cravings between meals, consider sugar-free chewing gum, which usually contains less than 5 calories per piece. Research from the University of Rhode Island showed that people who chewed gum consumed 68 fewer calories at lunch, and they didn't end up compensating by eating more later on in the day. Chewing gum also helped the study participants satisfy their cravings and resist high-calorie snacks. Just keep in mind there are now many delicious chewing gum flavors out there, and if you're not careful, you definitely won't be doing yourself any favors by eating an entire pack of chewing gum all at once. Next, we have a super low-calorie vegetable that is often used as a snack when dieting: celery. Celery, once again, has a very high water content. It's about 95% water and contains only 14 calories per 100 grams. Interestingly, aside from assisting with weight loss, it might provide additional benefits for men. For example, one study found that supplementing with celery leaf extract led to an increase in sperm production, which is beneficial for fertility. On top of that, data indicates that celery might help you control your blood pressure, likely because it contains nitrates. This can also help with one of the major side effects of having high blood pressure, which is erectile dysfunction. Now, moving on to a low-calorie beverage, I want to talk about diet soda. Now, for a while, many nutritionists started believing that diet soda was actually bad for weight loss, even though it's almost virtually calorie-free. The reason why was because artificial sweeteners were believed to increase hunger along with sugar cravings. But if we look at the data, it turns out that some artificial sweeteners can actually be beneficial for weight loss. For example, one study compared the effects of water and water sweetened with 0-calorie artificial sweeteners, and they aimed to see how each of these would influence weight loss over a 12-week period. They also even followed up for a full year after the study to see how the participants maintained the weight loss. Ultimately, the results showed that the sweetener group lost more fat and regained less of it over time during maintenance. And in contrast to what you might expect, the sweetener group was less hungry overall during the diet, and they had better dietary compliance. This showed researchers that sweeteners could be an effective tool for weight loss and for maintenance. But aside from weight loss, what about the effect that these sweeteners have on your health? Well, in general, artificial sweeteners are not harmful as long as you don't take in more than the maximum recommended amount, as shown by a wide range of studies. The only controlled studies that have been able to find side effects since these theories emerged are in studies on animals that would consume more of the sweetener than any sane person ever would, often going 100 or even more than 1,000 times above the maximum recommended daily amount. Next, I want to give you another great virtually calorie-free vegetable, bok choy, which is a Chinese white cabbage variation that falls into the cruciferous vegetable category, along with other vegetables like kale, Brussels sprouts, and broccoli. Bok choy is made up of about 95% water and only has 13 calories per 100 gram serving. It's also a great addition to soups, which soup in itself tends to score low in calories while scoring high in relation to filling up your stomach. Moving on, we have a vegetable that's actually not green, but it's still one of the best virtually calorie-free foods, the radish. Radishes are full of potassium, vitamin B6, and vitamin C. They're 95% water and they contain about 16 calories per 100 grams. They also contain some fiber and are excellent for your teeth, gums, nerves, hair, and nails. Throwing them into a salad can help add some flavor without the additional calories. Next on our list, we have the wide variety of Walden Farms calorie-free dressings. As you might have noticed, many of the foods we've covered so far are water-rich vegetables such as cucumbers, zucchini, lettuce, celery, bok choy, and radishes. So what would be a better near calorie-free meal or appetizer other than a salad? Well, one addition that often turns a low-calorie salad into a calorie-loaded disaster is the dressing that goes along with it. Salad dressings often contain large amounts of oils that can significantly increase the caloric value of any given meal. Fortunately, you do have alternatives at your disposal. For example, Walden Farms offers calorie-free salad dressings that contain no fat, carbs, or sugars. They offer a wide range of dressings, including calorie-free French dressing, bacon dressing, balsamic vinaigrette, raspberry vinaigrette, and much more. Just keep in mind, if you dump a ton of dressing into your salad, you will still likely add calories. Remember, the calorie-free label is based on the serving size indicated on the bottle. So feel free to add some, just don't dump the whole bottle into your salad. And actually, another great vegetable that can also be thrown into your salad that I didn't mention before is watercress. Just like many of the other vegetables, it's made up of 95% water. It also contains nitrates, and we've already talked about the benefits that these provide for blood pressure, but dietary nitrates can also help improve exercise performance by relaxing blood vessels and increasing nitric oxide levels. This helps improve blood flow and oxygen delivery to your muscles. Also, for dieting purposes, it doesn't hurt that watercress only contains about 11 calories per 100 grams. Next, I want to mention some super low calorie condiments that'll add flavor while helping with fat loss. Mustard only has 3 calories per packet or per teaspoon. Frank's Red Hot, or most hot sauce in general, has virtually 0 calories. Horseradish sauce only has about 6 calories per tablespoon. Salsa only has 4 calories per tablespoon. Heinz reduced sugar ketchup only has 1 gram of sugar and 5 calories per tablespoon. Soy sauce contains only 9 calories and about 1 to 2 grams of protein per tablespoon. So these are all super low calorie, flavorful condiments that you can add to your meals. Moving on to another fruit that's low in calories and great for fat loss, we got the kiwi fruit. Per fruit, you'll get on average just 42 calories, and out of those calories, 2.1 grams are in the form of dietary fiber. Many people experience hunger cravings in the evening, and if you're on a diet, those cravings might even become so severe that it becomes tough to fall asleep. If that applies to you, you should know that research shows that eating kiwis before bed can help you fall asleep. For example, in a study where participants ate 2 kiwi fruits 1 hour before bedtime every night for 4 weeks, researchers found that they fell asleep faster, experienced better quality sleep, and they slept for longer. Ultimately, they concluded that kiwi fruit could help people get to sleep and stay asleep. Next, we have a fruit that's often confused for a vegetable, the tomato. Tomatoes are also made up of 95% water, and even though many people avoid them when dieting, they only contain 18 calories per 100 grams. Tomatoes are also one of the best sources of vitamin C and beta carotene, which both support heart health. They're also great for your eyes, skin, and immunity because they're loaded with lycopene, as well as a bunch of vitamins, including vitamin K, B1, B2, B3, B5, and B6. Tomatoes actually bring us to our next super low calorie food, tomato soup. Tomato soup can be excellent on a diet because it's very effective at satiating hunger since it takes up a lot of space in the stomach without costing a lot of calories. Of course, it does depend on where you get it or how you make your tomato soup. While there are some good pre-made tomato soups in the supermarket, many of them contain additions that spike up the calories. So ideally, you'll want to make it yourself instead. The good news is that it's really easy. Start by mixing 500 grams or about 17 ounces of canned whole tomatoes and juice and add 1 chicken stock cube. Then bring it to a boil in a large saucepan or a pot. Once it's boiling, sprinkle in a bit of stevia and seasonings like garlic to improve the taste. And that's all there is to it. You'll now have a filling bowl of soup that has only about 59 calories. Last but not least, we have the best calorie-free beverage, and that's water. Not only does water have 0 calories, but it can help reduce hunger and assist with weight loss. For example, research shows that people that drink water frequently wind up taking in 9% fewer calories on average. Data also shows that it's especially beneficial to drink water before your meals. One study found that drinking 500 milliliters of water, or about 17 ounces, 30 minutes before breakfast, lowered total calorie intake by 13%. So try to down a glass of water when eating one or more of the near calorie-free foods that are outlined in this video. So those are 20 of the best lowest calorie foods. Now I want to provide an example of how you can put all of this together to create a full course meal consisting of hardly any calories. So as an example, you can start by drinking a glass of water at the beginning of your meal. Then start your meal with the tomato soup recipe that I just went over before. Next, you'll create a low-calorie noodle salad by boiling shirataki noodles and a bunch of your favorite low-calorie vegetables like zucchini, celery, bok choy, broccoli, or cauliflower, and serve it with a calorie-free Walden Farms dressing. Finally, finish off the meal with a piece of watermelon or kiwi. If you have an average size serving of all of this, you'll end up with a highly satiating full course meal containing only around 150 calories in total.